but as a representative of the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of the people of Guam. Today, more than ever, we need someone in Washington who will speak for everyone in Guam. I'll use my legislative experience to advocate strategic initiatives in areas of health, the economy, infrastructure, and transportation that reflect the changes our island is going through. Together, we can achieve recognition and results that make it possible for Guam to thrive like never before.
Paid for by Shelton for Congress, Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. New Jeep Gladiators up to $7,000 off now at Cars Plus. Named the best vehicle for adventure in 2024. Get your Jeep Gladiator today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Police are on the hunt for this man after a robbery caught on camera in a game room in Mighty. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with the story coming up.
We did task it to Internal Affairs, and so we're looking into who this officer is and determining if the allegations are true.
And an internal affairs investigation has been launched after an anonymous letter claims a police officer would get beauty services done while on the clock. I'm Jonagan Charfris with the very latest.
Team Guam takes the global stage. Maria Escano talks with us about her first time on the mat at the Olympics. I'm Nick Delgado with her story coming up as part of your Pacific Olympic voyage.
Half a day and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Tomas Manglonia. Thank you for making us a part of your day. In our top story, a thief armed with a knife robbed a Mighty game room in broad daylight Monday. Authorities now on the hunt for the suspect caught on camera. Matsuki Hirayama reports.
A terrifying robbery at a Mighty game room caught on camera. Security footage capturing the moment a thief armed with a knife forced his way into the cashier room inside the Liberty game room in broad daylight Monday. Police responding to the incident around 2 p.m. An elderly employee is seen pushed to the ground, the robber taking cash from the drawers before stomping on a cell phone, causing it to smoke. KUAM spoke with the owner's son, only going by the name Mike.
He started taking money. That's all really that happened with a knife. So the worker was too scared to defend herself, basically.
He says the robber stole an undisclosed amount of money and stabbed the cell phone. He adds the employee received minor injuries to include bruises from the fall. As for the suspect,
we have a photo of him.
Employees recognizing him as a customer who frequents the game room. Authorities now on the hunt.
The male is approximately 5'6" to 5'8" in height, between the pounds of, or the weight of 160 to 180.
Guam Police Department spokesperson Officer Belen Savella says officers have yet to identify him.
Our officers are again reaching out to the community, doing some footwork, leg work, and possibly sourcing with people that they may know who may know of this suspect who had fled.
She adds it's too soon to tell if the crime is drug-related. Anyone with any information is asked to call Guam Police. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
And with crimes like these, police presence in the villages is more critical than ever, which is why this next story is concerning. An officer with the Guam Police Department allegedly getting beauty services done while on the clock. That's according to an anonymous letter. The police chief says an internal affairs investigation has been launched, but there are concerns from other officers that the incident may not be routed through the proper channels to ensure transparency and accountability. Joan Ugan-Charfris has more.
Chief of Police Stephen Ignacio confirms an internal affairs investigation is underway after he received an anonymous letter Friday morning that was dropped off in his post office box. The letter is concerning, detailing a female police officer getting beauty services done while on the clock on different occasions. The letter notes one instance during the last week of June. She was in uniform, had her gun belt gear and radio on, and uniform jacket. The letter went on to say she was there for an hour and appeared to have an eyelash service done, and she was picked up in a black Outlander patrol car with a number 80. What is more concerning is that other officers were allegedly aware of what she was doing. The letter notes another male officer walked in towards the back to check her. He had several stripes on his sleeve. The author of the letter recalling another incident in mid-July when the same female officer was dropped off to the same Tumuning beauty salon, but this time by a patrol car number 42. And if it's true, Ignacio says it's disappointing.
To know that our officers would use government resources and their government paid time to do something that is personal in nature. I'm not sure what would make an officer believe that if this was true, that this conduct is appropriate, because it's definitely not appropriate.
A copy of the anonymous letter was also provided to Senator Chris Barnett, Public Safety Chair, who fired off a letter to the chief saying, quote, "I implore you to ensure that this incident and others that have come before you are handled appropriately, not just for the sake of public confidence, but also to allay any doubts regarding GPD's leadership ability to police its own." Ignacio says that the clock for the 90-day adverse action has started.
So we're looking into who this officer is and determining if the allegations are true. We're looking at even doing, of course, looking at surveillance footage for the area and seeing what we can uncover. We have determined where the cars are assigned.
When asked if he had any message for the public whose confidence in the department may be shaken,
we haven't proven any of the allegations.
With concerns of possible official misconduct and falsifying government records, KUAM reached out to the governor for comment on the matter, as she was also provided a copy of the letter. Director of Communications Crystal Pacos Augustine stated, quote, "An internal affairs investigation has been launched, and we will allow the investigation to run its course." Joan Ugan-Charfris, KUAM News.
And with the start of the new school year nearly a week away, will public school students see more double sessions, online classes, or delayed start to the academic term with 18 schools yet to pass health inspections? Senators, education, and public officials ironing out those questions in an emergency session today. Destiny Cruz has more.
With the new school year kicking off next week, around 18 Guam Department of Education schools awaiting public health inspections may not be able to open its doors for around 12,000 students. It's due to the sunset of a public law that allowed for GDOE schools in the same situation to continue to operate in the previous school year. Senator Dwayne San Nicolas is making another push to extend the principle of Public Law 37-32 through his Bill 317, which would keep schools operating while awaiting inspections this school year.
This brings tremendous value to not only our kids, but our communities to keep schools open as much as possible. Of course, I'm not saying that there isn't any problems with our schools. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but we have to work toward making them better.
The legislature convening today for an emergency session to discuss the matter, delving into the committee of the whole with education and public health officials. GDOE Superintendent Dr. Kenneth Swanson on how the bill would buy Guam DOE more time to come into compliance, noting a little over half of the 41 schools passed inspections before the end of school year 23-24.
What I need is the same time capacity that we had up until the end of the school year in 24 to continue for one more year. By that time, we'll be able to get everything, all the schools inspected and begin the cycle of reinspection for the renewal process.
And while DPHSS's Division of Environmental Health inspectors say they stand ready to inspect schools,
you can inspect all 18.
Yeah, but I can't guarantee you they're going to be open.
DEH management analyst Francine Sala says that based on GDOE's findings, the schools at the bottom of that 18-numbered list have major work to be done. So much so that if too much of those campuses are cordoned off, they won't meet the population requirements. The emergency session continued at length. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Reproductive health care is a major issue for voters nationally and locally. Here at home, the community organization Familao and Rights asked candidates for their stance on the issue. Here's what they found. A nation divided.
We will not rest until all of our preborn brothers and sisters are protected under our law.
As long as there are people fighting to take away my rights, I'm going to be here fighting to get those rights back. And we're not going to stop.
This week, Iowa's strict abortion law went into effect, prohibiting most abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. Deputy Director of Familao and Rights, Kaylin Michael Meno, weighs in.
A lot of people do hold this specific issue close to their heart, and this was what helped guides them in their decision of voting.
The organization published a survey they conducted among candidates ahead of the primary about their stance on women's reproductive health care, which includes birth control, abortion, and healthcare education. They asked candidates if they support access to all forms of women's reproductive health, some forms of it, or not at all. 6 candidates, including just one running for delegate, said they support access to all forms of reproductive health. One declined to respond. 5 candidates explained why they support some forms of it, but a vast majority did not respond.
With Roe v. Wade being overturned, it has then been left to the states to decide on how to move forward on this issue. So we definitely need congressional candidates who will be out there to champion this issue for us on a nationwide scale. But at the same time, we still need to be mindful of those who we elect to the local legislature.
The group says they don't take a no response as an official stance and will update the survey results if they receive more answers.
We do highly encourage that these candidates who did not respond do come out and make it clear of where they stand on the issue.
And we'll be right back.
We all have our concerns about our quality of life and how it can be improved. If you don't like the direction our island is headed, it's up to you to choose leaders you believe will make a difference. The choice is yours. And if you don't vote, you can't complain. Vote, period.
You know, life shouldn't be this hard for those who live here. I have a vision for lower prices on airfare, more affordable housing, better health care, and moving veteran services from Hawaii to Guam. I will get Guam a role in the economic expansion in the Asian Pacific. With more federal support for infrastructure, a 100% screen to stop illegal drugs, and new high-paying jobs, we can turn Guam's unique position into lasting prosperity. I'm Ginger Cruz. I approve this ad, and I humbly ask for your vote.
I never would have imagined this day would come. Me, who had to work 2 jobs straight out of high school, finally earning a college degree 30 years later. But thanks to Bank of Hawaii's College Assistance Program with Chaminade University and years of studying, I became the first person in my family to graduate college. I'm Rita Aponte, and I'm proud to work for a company that helps all of us reach dreams we never imagined.
I am Verna Charglet Mendiola, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Danny Blas. I am voting for Joe.
I am Sarah Babasa Charglet Taitano, and I am voting for Joe.
I'm Sophie Evangelista, and I'm voting for Joe.
I am Emily Caceres, and I'm voting for Joe.
Ako po si Junel Ombrero. Iboto po natin si Joe.
My name is Anthony James Sebastian Wolford, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Edith Blas, and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Richard Sannicolas, and I'm voting for Joe.
Doing everything the right way.
We start with her and her local business. We start with them, celebrating 30 years. We start with big.
Welcome to Dusatani. How may I assist you today?
Keep doing your best. Congratulations.
Small and growing businesses. We start with global connections and make them local. At GTA, we start with your business.
Dreaming is the easy part. I've been doing that since I started competing at a young age. As a triathlete all these years later, that dream is what keeps me going. Thanks to the support of my sponsors like Community First, I can put my all into training and competing full-time. I'm proud to represent Guam all over the world, and with our community behind me, that dream is becoming my reality.
Community First, supporting success stories one member at a time.
Going for Gold is presented to you by Prime Hydration and C2O Coconut Water, distributed by PDC Wholesale.
Let's continue our profile of our Olympic team as tonight we head to the mat, which is where Maria Escano honed her skill in judo over many years. She carries a long and proud tradition in that sport, and she's gotten to Paris because of the strong support system that has her back, no matter what.
You guys, I know it's such a wonderful moment for our sports community that Maria is over there competing. As we're actually recording this right now, her match is actually in an hour. She's getting ready to fight right now. So, you know, some sports, Eric, we'll start with you, like triathlon, they would say we got our first one, our first Olympian, right? Mm-hmm. For this is a long tradition of judokas that Guam is at all the way back to our first Olympics in 1988. So yeah, what does she bring to the table as far as continuing that tradition and, you know, adding her own game and her own personality?
Yeah, for sure. So Maria, I want to say she's probably the 6th Olympian that we've created from our school so far and out of our program. But she's super hard worker. She has a lot of heart. Very proud of her and how far she's come on her growth. And I think she'll do Guam proud, but she's just really good at eyeing these opportunities to get one on top of her opponent.
Maria is someone I really look up to. She's one of the best mentors I've ever had. She trains really hard and she puts that onto us and gives a good amount of expectations for us and me and my teammates.
Okay, I want to talk about one thing now because you know, she's become such a celebrity as all 8 of our Olympians have. You know, they've seen, you know, the pictures that they're posting on Instagram and, you know, they saw them in the opening ceremonies. But people are like, does she ever smile? She always looks super focused, super locked in, and people are like, you know, is she mean mugging? But I've interviewed her before, and she's such a wonderful ambassador for our island and our culture and our sports programs and everything like that. But she's just absolutely locked in. I think that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, no, she's super locked in. She has a pretty infectious smile, so she's easy to talk to, easy to get around. Definitely a great ambassador for Guam. But yeah, don't worry about her mean mugging right now. It's just she's focused right now. She's the first out of our contingent to represent the island, so I think her thoughts are just purely on competition.
Okay, and would you like to say a message to Maria right now as she begins this latest chapter of her journey? I mean, she's worked really hard for so many years to get here, and she absolutely earns it. So what would you like to say to her as competition begins?
We're rooting for you, and we hope you win.
Good luck, little one. You got this.
Going for Gold is presented to you by Prime Hydration and C2O Coconut Water, distributed by PDC Wholesale. POV is brought to you in collaboration with United Airlines. Special thanks to the Office of the Governor of Guam.
Fellow judo athletes and friends both on and off the mat, Team Guam's Maria Escano was the first from the island to compete at the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Escano gave it her all, but in the end did not advance in the competition. Nick Delgado finds out what's next for her along with another young judo athlete from Micronesia.
Monday in Paris. spectators riled up for the judo match inside the Champ de Mars Arena. Maria Escano has the Guam seal on her gi, pumped up to take the Olympic mat for the very first time.
Representing KUAM, Maria Escano.
She trained for this day 30 hours a week at Sendai University in Japan, her coach by her side.
She taught me a Japanese word, and it just basically means never give up, and she drilled that into me for this entire cycle.
She took that spirit onto the mat, going up against Guinea's Mariana Esteves.
We've fought in training camps before, and she's gotten better, I've gotten better, so it was, she's also a good friend of mine.
Ultimately, Esteves took the win after nearly 2 minutes on the mat.
She outgripped me, that was the one thing, but I was able to get some of my hands on her. I tried to do throw on my left, but at the end of the day, she was just better than me.
Escano now focused on her athletic future. And to the people of Guam,
thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to come back stronger.
Escano wasn't the only first-timer for Micronesia on the judo mat. Also making her Olympic debut, Kiribati Nira Tebwa, at only 15 years old.
Her match against Ukraine only went for 6 seconds before her defeat, but she says,
I feel happy because I got some experience on the competition.
Her coach, Eddie, adding,
she felt a bit of pressure, a lot of pressure, and she's a bit panicked, but the experience is very good.
Still an incredible opportunity for these women of Micronesia. Next for Team Guam, Manami Ejima competing in the triathlon at the Pont Alexander Tour on Wednesday at 8 a.m. in Paris. That's 4 p.m. Wednesday, Chamorro Standard Time. Nick Delgado, KUAM News.
All right, can't wait to watch. In other news, hotels on Saipan report at 41% occupancy rate in June. Among 11 members of the Hotel Association of the Northern Marianas, or HANMI, the June stays are a 12% decrease compared to June 2023. The report comes even amid decreased room rates, which average at $10 less than last year at $121 a night. HANMI Chair Dennis Seo said, as a destination, we need to take action what is within our control to reverse this decline. Seo pointed to the reinstatement of Annex 6, promoting the cinema in China, and increasing air seats. HANMI noted that tax contributions by its members are also down 59% this year compared to the same period in 2019 before the pandemic. Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view of the top of the village of Humata.
Hafaday, this is Amanda Shelton. It's been my privilege to serve as your senator since 2019 to advance an agenda built on the needs and aspirations of the people of Guam by building consensus with both Democrat and Republican colleagues. Together, we've secured funding for critical programs, strengthened existing laws, and championed new legislation. We did so with recognition and respect for the many and diverse constituencies that make up our island. Today, I'm running for Congress, and it's these values, skills, experience that I'll use to advocate for Guam and Washington. Everyone has ideas. Experienced legislators are both mindful and respectful of others' ideas, but experienced lawmakers also know how to build consensus and turn ideas into action. I'm ready to do the heavy lifting for our island in Congress, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Paid for by Shelton for Congress, Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
Shelley Calvo, successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, proud mother and grandmother. Shelley's broad experience spans from Silicon Valley management to chairing Guam's Homeless Coalition. As our senator, Shelley will create career opportunities for our next generation, pull people out of poverty, and will vigorously protect Guam's children from predators. Shelley is equal parts passion and compassion. If bringing values and unity to the legislature is important to you, please vote Shelley Calvo for senator.
I'm Shelley Calvo, and I approve this message. I'm Tony Atta, and I approve this message.
Tony Atta produced quality legislation as a senator. Laws that prioritize our needs and keep our people safe. His Castle Doctrine legislation is the strongest law of the land, which allows us to protect our loved ones at home. But Tony's been serving our community long before he became a senator. So when people say, "I'm glad Tony's back in politics," we say, no, Tony never left leadership. Vote Tony Atta for senator. It's time to bring back the quality.
Martial artists from the James G. Taekwondo Academy brought home hardware after competing in the Chuncheon Korea Open, and 3 juniors under the tutelage of Master Mike Ho all won silver.
We were talking to each other before the competition. We're all like, it doesn't feel real yet. So the moment before we got into our matches, it was like, oh, here's the big moment. We got it.
That's when your heart starts beating real hard, because I didn't really feel it until we got to the arena for our matches.
They demonstrated a firm grasp of the technique, the teamwork, and the discipline that the sport demands. This is the direct result of years of training on the foundational ideas of Taekwondo.
The first 15 to 20 seconds is when you have to get over yourself and your nerves, and you have to get out of your comfort zone, because in those 15 to 20 seconds is also when you basically get the first impression of your opponent.
Guam has a tradition of excellence and success in Taekwondo, with our national team winning 3 medals at last November's Pacific Games. These red belts know it and work.
Attack, it's just really what you think is the right thing to do.
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
This burger looked at one slice of melted cheese and said, more cheese. It looked at pickles and said, also onions. It wanted to be juicy. This is the Quarter Pounder with cheese. If you thought one napkin for the Quarter Pounder with cheese was enough, it's not enough.
Docomo Pacific is on a mission. Whether you're a small business or a large enterprise, we believe fast internet's no longer just an option, it's a necessity. That's why we're committed to bringing fiber to everyone. As your business needs expand, we're working to bridge the digital divide by making strong, swift connections scalable to any business, ensuring you have the connectivity required and then some. Building for tomorrow's needs today. Fiber for everyone. Docomo Pacific Business.
Island Cancer Center has the only state-of-the-art Halcyon Linear Accelerator, providing radiation treatments in the Asia-Pacific region. We are excited to be back up and running after Typhoon Mawar. We have been providing the highest quality patient-centered care for 14 years and will continue to do so. Why? Because we love what we do. Island Cancer Center, our family treating your family. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 671-646-3363.
Don't need to work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
In this week's Giving Every Tuesday, we take a look at the generous donation of backpacks and supplies to Harvest House by officers with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Assistant Port Director Kenneth Gibbons said that they understand the value of giving back and had a strong desire to support the island community. So the CBP officers came together and collected school supplies to support the Harvest House KUAM Care Force Back to School Drive. Last week, CBP officers made their way to Harvest House and were welcomed by the staff.
Thank you so much for thinking of us. This is a huge blessing. We have just been praying for the right people to come in and bring the right supplies for us, and we're getting close to our goal. So this is huge.
According to Gibbons, while CBP in Guam has a small contingent of officers that carry out the mission of keeping terrorists and their weapons out of the U.S., they're proud to call Guam home. He says as members of the community, they understand the importance that their presence has in preserving the security of our island, while upholding the values of unity, vigilance, and cooperation to ensure the well-being and prosperity of all who call Guam home. A big thank you to the CBP officers and each and every one of you, including our community partners who found it in your hearts to support the island's foster children. Get ready for a brand new school year.
All right, everybody, our friends at KAHA, which our own Joe Nogan-Charfers very affectionately says, is the Guam Council on Arts and Humanities. We love you, Joan, and we love our friends at KAHA because they are putting on an art gallery celebrating the incredible, immense talents of some of our most wonderful creatives, and it's a summer and X Art Gallery show. It is all August long, so make sure to go check it out. You got a lot of time to check out these amazing creativities. It's second floor of the DNA building. Opening show on Friday the 2nd at 6 p.m. So make sure to see this when it happens. Come back multiple times because you are going to have your mind blown. You are also going to be a wonderful person, and as Guamanians, we practice Inafa Maulig, right? We take care of our neighbors and we take care of people that are going through health concerns, and that's what the Pink Ball does. It celebrates and benefits Harvest House and the Edward M. Calvo Cancer Foundation. This is going to happen at the Dusitani, and it's a wonderful benefit concert. Love Rocks is the theme. Mig Ayesa and Constantine Marolis, you remember them from American Idol, insanely talented, and they are going to put on the concert of a lifetime for you, and you are going to be able to help some of our fellow Guamanians. Thank you so much for doing that. And up in Saipan, the Saipan Chamber of Commerce is holding their general membership meeting for the month of August, month number 8 on the calendar. That is August 7th, starting at 11:30 in the morning at PIC. That's what's happening with Newslight. Shout out to our friends at KAHA again. KAHA, wonderful people there doing amazing things for you and I.
Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Happy birthday number 4, and this is a belated birthday wish going out to Thomas John Chong Salas and to our baby boy, 4 years old. You are growing too fast and we cannot keep up, but all the love in the world always from mommy, daddy, and all your big brothers and big sisters. And you know what? All of us here at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery too. We hope you and your family have a wonderful birthday celebration. And another super awesome birthday to another super awesome person, because turning super awesome 18 today, Vance Meno, the outstanding All-Island Father Duenas Friars linebacker. I covered him this year. Congratulations, Vance, to you and your family. Have a wonderful birthday party. Have a rockin' birthday.
That's your primetime show. Thanks for watching. I'm Tomas Manglonia. Have a safe evening.
Catch Health, Home, and Lifestyle every Tuesday following KUM News Prime Time. We've got you covered with health and lifestyle news each Tuesday on the stations of KUM and our digital streaming platforms. Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Hello, everybody. I don't know about you guys, but I am feeling golden. It's because of the Olympics. I'm feeling golden, I'm feeling silver, and I'm feeling bronze. And on our medal podium right now, Liz and Gina, they're sharing the gold medal. Okay, I'm on the other side. They're tied for gold because they're literally my golden girls. And we are talking today because I have found, like my most wonderful realtors, because I've talked to the two of them both here on Zoom and in real life, gotten to know what they're all about, found their professional interests, and see how they care about me as a potential consumer. Gina, we were talking last week about some new policies that are going to go into effect very, very soon that have things to do with the realtor and the client relationship. So maybe I was thinking this week we can talk about how do you actually know what the right realtor for you is? You know, we talk a lot about, you know, this is a relationship, right? So how do you actually find the right match?
Yeah, you're right. We talked about, the National Association of Realtors has our guidelines have come down that on August 17th, we're going to, in order to show property to buyers, we have to have a buyer's agreement. So the buyer has to sign either an exclusive or a non-exclusive agreement with the realtor saying we represent their interest, either for that property or for that moment in time or for that price range. I mean, whatever your arrangement is with your realtor, but it will be a contractual obligation. It goes into effect August 17th, so we can't even show you properties until that agreement is signed. But then what do you ask? How do you interview a realtor? Because now, that agreement also addresses compensation. How are you going to pay your realtor? And so you really need to think long and hard about some of the questions you should be interviewing your real estate agent, asking the right questions. And for me, it's about experience. How much experience do you have in the real estate industry? Because I think that's important. I know when I hire contractors or when I hire professionals in other fields, that's one of the things that I want to know. How much experience do I have? That plays a big role for me. How about you, Liz?
Yeah, and the other thing is to educate buyers now that yes, they do have choices, but they should ask, as Gina puts it, the right questions. And one of the things we wanted to bring up is there are different types of agreements that they will be signing. Is it exclusive to the one property? So the document that they sign should have a start date and an expiration date. And one thing I want to make sure is you're not bound. Do you want to be bound to that agent for all the properties you're seeing? Or do you want it non-exclusive for the one property you're looking at? So you should ask the agents a number of questions. What am I bound to? Is this for one property or for all the properties I'm going to see? Because one thing we do want to state that, let's say, for example, Jason, you see a piece of property, you already signed a document with Gina, and then you saw another piece of property, but you're not aware of the type of document you signed, and you called me to show you that property. Once you have a document, I'd ask you, what did you sign? Because I cannot show you this property if you have an exclusive document that's signed. So there are a series of questions a buyer should be asking in the course of their interview for an agent, because as Gina and I have done over the many years, we would size up properties or put a list together for the buyer based on their budget, based on what they qualify. But now there seems to be more questions in the process because compensation is has to be addressed. And a good agent can negotiate the compensation on the other side. Now, the problem is if compensation for the buyer's agent is not available, then that discussion, what if, would have to be discussed on the front end. What if we're able to get the compensation handled by the other side? And what if it isn't handled by the other side? What then? So we need to prep a buyer on all the different scenarios involved in the buying process.
Gina, it seems like say for a prospective buyer like me, right? And someone who would be, say, if I was going out and I was looking for the perfect realtor for me, just me thinking the way I do, I would kind of see there are like two major components, right? There's a component of the personal touch. Does my realtor take the time to understand me and my interest and possibly link me up with the best possible property for me? And then the more quantitative way, are they going to fight for me and get me the best possible deal so that I'm not going to wind up either overspending or, get shorted as far as the property. So I kind of want to find a realtor who can kind of, navigate and maybe get like a happy mid-range between those two. That's kind of
I
a tall
think
order for you guys, though.
no, not at all.
Okay.
Congressman Michael St. Nicholas wants to return to the U.S. Congress in this upcoming 2024 election. In his last term in Congress, he delivered more than anyone would have imagined. He addressed long-standing issues. For 70 years, the Manamco and Guam waited and waited to receive their war claims compensation. In his first term in office, Congressman Michael St. Nicholas refused to back down until he resolved this issue. As a result, hundreds of Manamco have finally received their war claims. But Guam needs more. If re-elected, Congressman Michael F.Q. St. Nicholas wants to deliver supplemental security income. In his last term in office, he has already started the necessary groundwork to include Guamanians in the SSI program. Let's put former Congressman Michael St. Nicholas back into office so he can get the job done.
I'm Michael F. St. Nicholas, and I approve this message.
Get ready to soak up the savings this summer at Kmart. Since 1995, Kmart has been the ultimate summer destination for everything you need. From groceries, to outdoor living, to everyday fashions for the family. We've been there for you. 24 hours a day. Kmart is committed to saving you time and money by offering big international and American brands you know, at prices incredibly low. Whether you're finding the perfect shade for that summer glow in our beauty care aisles, firing up your summer cookouts from top brands like Weber and Kenmore, or gearing up for those outdoor camping and beach adventures, Kmart's your one-stop shop for an active, fun-filled summer. So, join the fun and soak up the savings. You'll find everything you need and more, only at Kmart. The ultimate shopping destination in Guam, where savings, quality, and summer fun meet under one roof. Kmart, your 24-hour superstore.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
Want a real taste of New York? The classic New York-style pizza offers a big, bold taste that's a Guam favorite. It's handmade with 16 inches of foldable crust, a sweet marinara sauce, and your favorite topping. And at 30% larger than our large, classic New York pizza is only $12.99 for carryout. Bring together your family and friends for a classic New York pizza party. Each pizza is just $12.99 for carryout. Classic New York-style pizza. So close, you can taste it. Only at your island Pizza Hut.
How so?
I think those two key points are critical. You're absolutely right. You know, when we're dealing with sellers or buyers, the one thing that is most important to us is what is your goal? If you're purchasing, what is your goal? What are your hopes and expectations? Because it can't just be about taking you around and selling you a house. It isn't like that. This is, you know, whether you're buying the house as an investment or to live in as your home, knowing what your goal is and knowing what drives you sometimes plays a major role. I mean, you tell us A and you end up buying B. And the only way we get to B is because we understood you and your goals and your desires and your capability. Because, you know, and a lot of buyers don't understand, you know, they know they want to buy a home, but the rest of it is something we discover as we ask you all kinds of questions. And sometimes, you know, maybe we do go overboard in asking, but we believe if we get to really know you and understand what your objective is, we can guide you towards the right property, even if it doesn't quite fit the description you gave us. So knowing you is absolutely critical.
And there's the key part, right? So should I be, yeah, and I would assume that I could be, Liz, very forthright, and I could either say, okay, I'm 23, My longtime girlfriend and I just got married. We both just graduated from college. This is our first home. We want to have kids in maybe 2 years, and we're just starting out in the business world, so we don't have a ton of money yet, as opposed to someone being 45 and saying, I'm about to make vice president within the next 6 months. My spending, my place in the upper class tax bracket's going to go up very, very soon, and I have certain interests and everything like that. So I have to disclose a lot about myself and my personality to you in order for you to link me up with the right thing, right?
That's right. But that asking the questions, a series of questions, so that we can better assist you. And sometimes they could get personal. So I always ask, do you mind if I ask you a series of questions so that I can better assist and serve your needs? And listening, of course, you know, we've had clients that would say, wow, we've had a number of viewing different properties, but it didn't fit our needs or our goals. And that tells me that someone was not listening to what their needs were. So again, we would ask a series of questions in order to meet your goal, but then listening also, I think, is very important. So it's a two-way street. It works both ways. As Gina puts it, there's some people that, you know, call us. We always say, find the right match. Find the agent that you feel comfortable with and the agent that you trust, but also you should interview and ask the right questions to get the right feel.
And be honest, everybody. That's what we say on the show. I
Yes.
mean, your realtor isn't going to ask you your blood type, your social security number, you know, what your bank account routing number is and everything like that. They just want to know about who you are as a person and how you would like to live, basically.
That's right. That's right. And again, I need to emphasize now it's different with buyers. There's forms that they have to complete before you go look at property. So again, if your realtor did not have you sign a document, then our policy is we have to have documents signed before we can show a particular piece of property. So again, just reminders to potential buyers, because you're bound to that agent. You're bound to that agent. And the binding is dependent on what type of document you sign. And if you came to us, Jason, I would ask you, Jason, did you see other properties? Did you sign any documents? So then I would know how to proceed in assisting you. But if you signed a document with another agent, I cannot help you at that point.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so Gina,
Jason,
final
you
word is,
asked-
please.
Well,
please.
you asked another thing. You said, you know, getting to know you, but you said something about negotiations. You know, and those two things are critical. They have to go hand in hand, because I could get to know you, you know, I mean, we could become the closest, you know, client, agent, but if I'm not a good negotiator, I'm not going to be successful in getting you into a home. And I think you can tell when you're interviewing your realtor, more or less, you can tell if that realtor is going to be a good negotiator for you. I
It
always
could be a
tell,
nice person. They just couldn't get you necessarily a good deal.
yeah, I mean, that's the truth. And that goes for everybody. You know, I could be, you know, I always tell when I'm working with sellers that the key point that I try to stress to them is when you're negotiating on a contractual level and you're talking about compensation to your realtor, if I cannot negotiate a good compensation for my office, I may not be able to negotiate a good sales price for you either. And it goes that way with buyers. You have to be a good negotiator, and being a good negotiator encompasses a lot of things. It's about experience, it's about reputation, it's about diligence. I mean, it's everything. You got to know, you also have to know the right questions to ask when you're negotiating in behalf of your buyer. And so it's a lot of things. You know, your agent's really going to work for you, so pick the right one.
All right, and before you get the perfect deal, you have to find the perfect realtor. So that is a little bit of legwork, but it absolutely, trust us on this, everybody watching this, it is going to pay off in the long run. You will be happy you did so.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
I don't really try, I'm just athletic. I ain't really high, I'm just level-headed. Tell me why the click looking magnetic. Tell me in the city when I'm back in it.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. Today, I am here with a dear old friend from childhood, Jack Guzman. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you, Claire.
We were just talking before we got started, before the camera started rolling, that we haven't seen each other face to face in such a long time. And I just needed to reach out to you because you have completely transformed. When I think it was about a couple months ago when I saw you on Instagram, and I was incredibly inspired and just amazed by your transformation.
Thank you.
So I want you to share with our viewers your journey.
Well, it all started it started a long, long time ago, but in 2021, in May of 2021, I had weight loss surgery. Before that, I weighed about 425 pounds. I had gastric sleeve on Guam with Dr. Christian Eusebio. And after that, I just started on a weight loss journey. And since then, I have lost over 280 pounds. But the weight loss surgery was just the right push in the right direction because I've lost the weight through sheer dedication and effort on my own.
Absolutely. So that was just the impetus. That was just like to start.
Exactly. It was just the push in the right direction.
From there, I mean, because that takes care of only so much. And can you explain what exactly that surgery entails? What is that procedure?
Well, they go in laparoscopically and remove about 80% of your stomach. So that greatly reduces the amount of food you can eat at one time. So after about, I would say about 6 to 10 months, I changed my diet. I asked my surgeon if I could start doing intermittent fasting and switch over to keto. So I did keto and OMAD dieting, which is one meal a day, intermittent fasting.
And you're still on that?
I'm still on that. Sometimes I even do longer fasts, like alternate day fasting.
Okay.
Which I do maybe once or twice a month or once a week.
So you basically skip a whole 24 hours of
correct
eating.
There are many benefits just to fasting alone. You could research and find out all of these benefits. If you go to my Instagram channel or to my YouTube channel, you could see on my playlists some channels that I recommend, and that you could learn more about fasting and keto. That will tell you more about what I recommend.
What was your driving force? I mean, was your health? What was?
Absolutely, it was health and feeling good.
Yeah.
And of course, looking good.
Right.
And, you know, being there for my family and for my friends. Yeah. I mean, there was a point where I wasn't able to move freely the way I am now.
Right.
I mean, at all.
You said 420? You were at 420?
425 pounds. I mean, I couldn't walk through aisles. I couldn't travel the way I can now. I couldn't.
And I'm sure your numbers, aside from the weight, I'm sure your numbers when it comes to blood sugar, cholesterol, I'm sure all of that has completely.
Absolutely. I mean, I was on medications to control my blood sugar, to control my blood pressure. I am no longer on any of those medications at all anymore.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm in remission from diabetes, blood pressure, everything.
And you have to share with us your YouTube channel, your Instagrams, because you
Yes.
basically are sharing a lot of this information on your outlets.
Yes. So my channel is called Transform with Jack.
We will follow you on your journey for sure. Before we close, is there anything else you'd like to share in closing?
Please like and subscribe. If you have comments and you have questions, let me know and I'll share in future videos.
Well, it is important to share because I think this is inspiring and it could also help motivate others as well.
Absolutely. And if there's anything you want to know, please let me know and I'll share.
Thank you so much,
No,
Jack.
thank you, Claire. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you all. I'll see you next time on your weekly renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
This morning, more restaurants are biting into the digital age, and a new study shows it's influencing what you order. Emerging tech like touchscreen kiosks, tabletop tablets, and restaurant apps can lead to more indulgent food choices and increased spending, according to a new study from the University of South Florida.
Anything that's digital, machine-oriented, we tend to be less thoughtful and mindful. We tend to indulge more. We tend to spend more.
In other words, we order on automatic pilot without an exchange to trigger more thought about our food selections.
I'll just scroll through them and be like, why did I pick this?
It's a profitable trend restaurants are leaning into amid rising labor and food costs. Globally, the number of restaurant kiosks jumped by 43% in recent years and is expected to double by 2028. We tested one out at BurgerFi's flagship New York City location.
Oh my gosh, I can't pass up the Minion Shake.
The chain has seen average kiosk use balloon to 33%, with those customers spending 15% more and in some locations up to 42% more. Those numbers, researchers say, are even higher for independent restaurants.
Is there a growing share of customers that are using the kiosks?
Yes, absolutely. On the kiosk, it's just like, boom, boom, I want this, I want this.
The push towards tech was turbocharged by the pandemic, when face-to-face interaction was unsettling. But the trend has stuck for a variety of reasons. And some believe perceived anonymity could also be feeding technology's popularity, though the study didn't find evidence of that.
There's no judgment, so it's like, all right, I can order whatever I want. It's a cheat.
What are the lessons for the consumer from this study?
We need to be a little cognizant, thoughtful, like, is this what we want?
Important questions in a digital diet.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.